powered by Riverside.
Oh, hey everybody, calm down. Just calm down. My name is Josh. Welcome. This is the TheSadFan podcast where we talk about what's the good and the bad and everything that made us sad in Sports Town. I'm not Fry. I'm being Josh today.
Really? Could have fooled me.
Yep.
Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Yep, that's them. So let's start with Westicles. What made you sad?
For me, it's gotta be. This is the 3rd anniversary of Kobe Bryant's death, and me and my sister being Blazers fans growing up. It was always we never really liked Kobe because the amount of times he just stuck it to the Blazers. It's like he had a personal vendetta against us, but he was doing some really good things for women's basketball, and it was just really sad 3 years ago when I heard about him and his daughter passing.
Oh, totally.
And it's just always kind of stings a little bit, like around this time when you see all the news articles and everything, just because he was so young and he still had so much more to give to the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, while I definitely did not like him as a Lakers player, I definitely respected him on the men's national team. I respected what he was doing for the game. It was one of those things where you hate the player, but you love their game kind of deal. And you just had to have some respect for him. And it is very sad that he and his daughter were lost, along with some of the controversies around, everything that his surviving family has had to go through in the aftermath of his crash. So, definitely sad.
Yeah, big bummer. Thanks for bringing it up. What about you, Chelsea? What made you sad? R.I.P. Kobe.
So, what made me sad is in the world of football. And as I've mentioned so many times before, like it is getting harder and harder to support the NFL. And even just football generally, but the NFL, because of some of the issues with injuries and how seriously they take them. There is word that the NFL may be instituting some new rules around some of the different tackles, and as well as concussion protocols, that there's going to be some significant changes in rulemaking over the offseason. But one of the more promising changes looks to be as a result of Tony Pollard's unfortunate injury, where he just absolutely broke his leg. And Josh, you saw the video.
Yeah, I just saw it. His leg turned into noodles. It was terrible. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was not pretty. And this, basically what happened is you have what is called a hip drop tackle. And that is where you as the tackler go and grab the guy that you want to tackle by the hips, and then you sit down with him, and you bring your butt down as well as the other player's butt, and it leaves the legs exposed, and has resulted even in Patrick Mahomes. Like this type of drop tackle is what caused Patrick Mahomes' high ankle sprain. It has caused a number of leg breaks and fractures. I think even Jimmy G's broken leg was as a result of one of these type of tackles. And the good news is that the NFL actually wouldn't be the first professional sports league to ban these type of tackles, because this has also been an issue in Australian rugby. And so in Australian rugby, their league has decided that they do not want to actually stop all forms of lower body tackles. You can still even grab someone by the waist. You just can't sit down as you're trying to tackle them, because that motion is what exposes them for such high amounts of injury and some really gnarly, like you said, noodle leg injuries.
Yeah. I just watched it so everyone could get my real-time reaction.
And
it's not good.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Yeah, definitely a stomach-turning one. So I am really, really hoping that the NFL does take seriously the number of injuries that have occurred this season and some of the controversies, including, the outrage that's happened from, to his multiple concussions, Gigi's broken leg, Patrick Mahomes, having an injury, and then Tony Pollard having to leave the game suddenly after his injury. I hope that they do start looking at player safety and taking it very, very seriously and start implementing changes that will make like some of us with weaker stomachs reconsider actively participating in the NFL and spending money on it again. Like, I haven't spent money on an NFL game probably since 2016, I think, when I saw Mariota play for the Jets.
I mean, I still spend money on
NFL, but
so.
I'm saying for me, though, it's been a long time. And I'm someone who plans my domestic travel around things like football games, other sporting events, but I haven't gone to a professional football game in ages because of some of this squeamish thing. But I still do watch the game. But the more protective rules I see in place that actually make sense.
Yeah, well,
I would be happier with the game.
I will say, the NFL doesn't celebrate the big hits anymore. They used to, on all the adverts and stuff like that, it would just be, clips of people getting their getting their bells rung, over
eyeballs
and over.
flying out.
And they don't do that anymore. They've stopped doing that, which is, they've stopped trying to advertise it.
Yeah,
right.
I would say that's only been in the last few years, though.
Yeah.
The things are starting to change, and I think
baby steps.
And I think, honestly, a big part of the changes, though, are these social media viral clips of just, 10 seconds here, 15 seconds here, where people are like, oh, no.
Yeah.
This isn't okay.
Yeah.
And
media is making it more
social
seeable.
Media is not a bad thing. Yeah.
No, there's good things that come with that. And, my first thought was questions of okay, then what is a tackle? Where do you draw the line? And it's a really thin line you're walking for it to be a fair thing. But, the rules have always changed a little bit here and there. The president has intervened once upon a time to make it less violent because kids were fucking dying. They're high school or college kids. They were just dying all the time.
Yeah.
And I forgot the guy's name. Maybe you guys know, but 80s time frame, I think he was D-line, and he would just smack people right off the snap, and with his bicep, he'd hit their helmet as hard as he could, and then they're all discombobulated, and he walks right over them. So, that used to be legal, to just, ring someone's bell before the fucking play, or as the play starts.
Clothesline them, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and think that used to be legal, and there's no way you can just hit people in the head anymore. So there's always going to be violence. We don't have to, just draw the line at people just breaking their ankle once in a while. That's a really dangerous move, so something should be done. It's going to be fine.
It's not just, one freak incident, though, right?
Right,
it's not one incident of someone spraining their knee. And I know that this is, where Fry kind of considers me to be, a little bit of a wuss, right? A weak stomach for the game. But I just know that,
I've seen way worse injuries than the Tony Pollard injury, and it's those are always going to happen.
It's always going to happen, no matter what. Yeah.
But if there's one specific movement that is repeatedly over and over,
the bicep to the head, but even
there's an injury.
On the worst case or the best case scenario, that move in particular, the way you sit down and bring the inertia straight downward, it's guaranteed long-term problems for the spine. I mean, that's goes without saying in the NFL, I suppose, but just that it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem like it should be
for both players.
Yeah, for both players.
You're talking about back damage, but for both the person being tackled and for the person pulling them down.
Yeah, let's protect everybody. Best we can.
Sometimes you need to protect players from themselves. And if this action of sitting down as you tackle someone is, in 25% of games, there's a major injury where someone needs to be out for the rest of the game the next day or needs surgery. Yeah. You should absolutely do something about it. And there have been a lot of these injuries this season. So I don't know. I think it's a good move. It's sad that, he had that horrible injury, Tony Pollard, and here's to hoping that the NFL does something about it.
Yeah, let's do something
Well,
about it.
hopefully he makes a full recovery. So,
No, totally. I'll go brief with what made me sad is because I don't know much about it. I just recently heard that the WWE potentially might get sold to some Saudi prince or something like that, a trillionaire in the desert. Not necessarily sad that that's happening particularly, but just the changing of hands is always risky. So it's.
I mean, I think he should just stayed out of it and stayed retired and let his daughter and son-in-law run everything.
Right.
Yeah,
I was going to
ego
say
thing, though.
it's
not surprising.
It's Vince McMahon strong arming his way back into the WWE just so he can extract as much money out of the sale, and he's going to the highest bidder. And unfortunately, it's the Saudi Prince from who decided after because there were a couple random matches starting in 2016 that started going over 2016, 17 that started going over to Saudi Arabia.
Pay-per-views over there.
Yeah.
Randomly. So weird.
Yeah.
And so
didn't he wrestle that Logan Paul guy or the other Paul? Aaron Paul? One of the Pauls wrestled in WWE over there.
Yeah, and Logan. Yeah, I think it was Logan Paul.
I can't keep track of these idiots.
It's like the first time they didn't even let the women wrestle there, but now they can, but they have to wear long sleeve shirts, and it's silly. Meanwhile, the guys are still just walking around in speedos,
It's totally compatible with how we view women's wrestling in the United States.
I mean, it's actually if you compare it to the 90s to now, in the 90s they were doing bra and panties match, and now the women are doing cage matches and stuff.
Yeah. They're doing some real acrobatic shit.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Yeah. Times have changed. All right, well, let's get into it then. What else is going on these days?
NFL playoffs.
NFL playoffs? Who's the best player on the playoffs?
I'd say Patrick Mahomes, but he has a sprained ankle right now, so
sprained.
I think that completely changes the dynamic. And besides, the Bengals have had the Chiefs' number for the last couple of years now. So,
and along with the injury talk, one of the problems that I see with Mahomes, even though he's saying that his practice, I think it was today or yesterday, went better than expected, is that the sprain is evident on an MRI, and I've had sprains, and I've crutched my way into the doctor's office. You can't see them if they're just inflammation on an MRI. There has to be some serious ligament damage in order for you to be able to see it. I'm not saying that because I'm not Alex, I'm not a PA or anyone who looks at radiographs all the time or MRIs, but I'm gonna say that it seems like there is actually damage there it's not going to get fixed in the next couple days.
Yeah.
What do you think, bro?
Figure it out, Mahomes.
No,
come on, tape it up.
He can say it's fine all he wants. I mean, they're gonna tape it up. They're gonna inject him with painkillers during the game, but he's still not going to be 100%. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor. Yeah, I think Bengals are going to walk away, going to the Super Bowl again.
So you think that Mike Hilton? You think Mike Hilton is appropriately calling Arrowhead Stadium Burrowhead?
Yep.
What's that all about?
Okay. Well, Joe Burrow.
So Joe Burrow, the Bengals quarterback, he hasn't lost in the Kansas City Stadium yet. I think this is his third year, and he hasn't lost there yet. So they've been calling him Burrowhead.
Burrowhead?
It's Arrowhead Stadium.
Instead of Arrowhead Stadium, which...
Yeah.
That's a separate thing. That means we really need an offensive stadium name. Okay.
Yeah.
So will someone please give me credit though for calling the Bengals even getting to this point?
Did you?
True. I had the Bills. I thought the Bills were going to pull it out.
Good job.
Yeah, good job last week. Fry was wrong as well. I think he had the Bills winning the Super Bowl, didn't he?
I think he did have the Bills. He did have the Bills. That's what I just heard about.
Yeah. So he does have the Chiefs winning this game, and I don't want to be I don't think the Bengals are actually going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to get there.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Yeah,
Fry has the Chiefs.
I don't see the Chiefs winning.
Oh,
Yeah.
The other
Fry
game,
says he calls Chiefs and Niners. That's what he wants to pick. His number one footballs.
Eagles 49ers. So I thought the Cowboys were going to win. I called the Cowboys beating the 49ers. I was wrong. So I'll take the L for that one. I freaking hate the 49ers being a Seahawks fan. And I would love for nothing more than to see the Eagles just put an ass whooping on the 49ers. And I hope Brock Purdy comes down to reality. I'm sorry, there's no way this random rookie from Iowa State, last pick of the draft, is good enough to win a frickin' Super Bowl. I'm putting all of my credibility on the line and saying he's not winning a Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'm actually going to, predictions. I'm going to go with the Eagles as well. Just because I do think that the pressure will start to get to a rookie quarterback.
It's got to.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's as bad as my brother thinks he apparently is. Like, just because, how many?
He's one of the better rookie quarterbacks.
Okay, absolutely. But how many no-namers join up on practice squads out of North Dakota State University? So many. I don't even know why. These guys come out of nowhere sometimes, and they end up going into the league. So, and making an impact, actually, and starting games.
Josh Allen was from Wyoming.
Exactly. So sometimes, being from these
he played against Oregon. He whooped his ass.
From these non-P5 schools, then you can end up with, pretty good guys who, once they fit into a system that works for them, Josh Allen in Wyoming might not have
and they have good coaching.
Yeah, but once he gets coached up into the NFL, actually has some substance, can do some things.
Yeah. But I will say the one good thing, though, about the Bengals winning is we avoided the whole neutral site AFC championship game, which I'm sure the league would have tried to use as a testing run for doing that going forward, or like a little mini Super Bowl before the actual Super Bowl, and try and make a big spectacle out of it.
So I had to go back because it actually made me so mad. I was like, okay, if they're tied or something like that, can't we just do a random number generator? Can't we just do a coin flip? And apparently the issue comes out of the Bills-Bengals game getting canceled with DeMar Hamlin's injury. So apparently the rules for a neutral site AFC championship game or any NFC championship game would have been if both things happen, where each team played a different number of regular season games, and the lower seeded team could have been the number one seed if they had played a full 17 game regular season.
Yeah.
And honestly, it still feels weak to me. You should have just given it. I understand that the Bengals, were in a weird spot the Bills were in a weird spot because they didn't play the right number of games, right?
Yeah.
But to just have it in the middle of nowhere?
Well, it's in Atlanta, so they chose originally they wanted Indianapolis because that's literally dead in between the two. But they ended up choosing so Indianapolis had a volleyball tournament, some big national volleyball tournament going on, and so they were like, we can't do it. And so, which is probably the first time ever that volleyball has out-prioritized football and anything in the U.S. And so they ended up choosing Atlanta, which even though it's kind of out of the way, it's still the same amount of drive time, for both of the two. It was 9-10 hours driving or something.
They ought to have it in a dirigible, 3,000 feet in the air. The ultimate spectacle.
Everyone riding unicycles.
Just doing something crazy. Because I still don't get it, though, because you got a week notice for anyone who is dying to go to this game. You've got a week notice to figure out your travel plans, which is just, in this economy, not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you do? and yes, I understand, like, teams, there's no guarantee of whether your team is going to play at home during a playoff stretch because of, just, we can't have, best of 5 in football because that would just be murder. But, yeah, I mean, but why in Atlanta, who is going to show up from either Buffalo, New York, or from Kansas City?
Well, so one of the reasons I think why they also chose Atlanta is because Atlanta has the largest, busiest airport in the United States. I mean, it serves the most destinations out of there. And so it's an easy place to get to if you're flying.
Yeah, but
what would be cool?
Football championship game.
It would be cool if, like...
What would be cool?
That was in LA. That was SoFi. Oh. I think Atlanta was last year.
What if they had, like, a combine, just a mini combine, right before the game, and that decides where it's going to be? Like, if my team wins the combine, whoever's got the most Oklahoma drills and all the sprints, that would sell tickets. Now you're making millions of dollars. You're welcome.
You should just be the ideas generator.
Yeah.
Bad ideas,
yeah.
Just start churning them out.
Make him do like Ninja Warrior or something. That'd be funny.
I know the address.
Make the offensive lineman do Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep putting the... honestly, if the NBA All-Star Game can be so much fun because of all the dumb, stupid things they make the players do, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah, that's true. They do have to get involved with a lot of stuff. What's this stuff I'm hearing about Shannon Sharpe?
He tried to fight all of the Grizzlies.
Physically?
Not just one. Like, the whole team cleared the bench. Well, no, it was just jibber-jabber, but...
Oh, jibber-jabber.
I'm not really...
I haven't heard this. So what's going on?
Okay, so Shannon Sharpe was at a Grizzlies game. He's in the front row, right?
Yeah.
And he says something to one of the players, and you're going to have to look up the story because I actually did not look at it right before this. But so as they're going to like halftime, and one of the players turns back around, looks at Shannon Sharpe, and then all of a sudden, like, all of his dudes come and back him up, and all of a sudden everybody's yelling at Shannon Sharpe, and coaches and the refs are trying to pull everybody apart because Shannon Sharpe is just sitting there in his grandpa sweater and dad jeans, just like being an
old, or something.
Old man yelling at the cloud kind of thing.
Yeah, you go to hell.
Pissed enough. Yeah, it's something like that, and pissed enough people off that turned into a kerfuffle on the sidelines there. Yeah, very cool.
Jeez, what are you doing? Just like keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Like just because you work like in the sports business doesn't give you like he wasn't even an NBA player. He was a football player. Like what gives you like the right to like start talking trash to the players or whatever? Like just because you're in the sports business, sit your ass on the sideline, enjoy the view, enjoy your seats, and shut up.
Just have a cheeseburger, bud.
Speaking of sports commentators being absolutely ridiculous and sticking inserting themselves into situations and rather than just simply commentating on it. What do you think about Skip Bayless's comments about the Cowboys
Skip?
this week? He is also the host of Undisputed with Shannon Sharpe. So they've both been
it's a giant clown show.
Morons this week. And Skip Bayless today said that the Cowboys' loss this weekend was the worst loss of his lifetime.
Says he's in tears here.
He was
cried
crying
about it?
Mm-hmm.
He cried about a football game.
On TV.
Baby.
What a cool guy.
And
good. I'm glad.
Skip Bayless, who in the middle of the Damar Hamlin situation, also interrupted everyone and was like, yeah, but what about the game? Like, what do we do about finishing it off like this late in the season?
I mean,
there's too much on the.
He's like the Trump of like sports reporting. He just like says like loud, obnoxious crap just to get like clicks and
reaction.
Didn't he say that mean thing to Shannon Sharpe like a week or two ago? I saw that briefly where He said something about Shannon Sharp being mediocre or something like that.
Oh, because Shannon Sharp, I think, was like talking about what was it?
Tom Brady being.
Well, Shannon Sharp didn't even.
Tom Brady. Yeah, I think it was about Tom Brady, and then like Shannon Sharp or whatever basically like went off on him or whatever.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Said like, "Oh, you'll never be as good as Tom Brady." And he's like, "I never said I would."
Why'd you have to say that? First of all,
yeah,
nuts.
Everyone knows that.
Absolutely,
it's true
nuts.
for everybody.
This guy is crazy. But while we're on the topic of Skip Bayless and his poor Cowboys, I do have a small update on the Cowboys, and that would be on quarterback Dak Prescott. His girlfriend dumped him this week.
Oh, seriously?
So, do we think it was because of the interceptions? I mean, this guy's life is just falling apart at the moment, and I think he's just got a nice long off season ahead of him.
Yeah, that sucks.
Just being in his feelings.
Just go to Miami for a few weekends, bud.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he'll find someone new.
He's got plenty of money.
Yeah.
That sucks, though. I mean, probably like the most devastating loss of your career, and then just to pile it on.
So I have questions about the Cowboys, right? Because they had this huge loss, and everyone's like really upset about it. But I mean, we have so many questions about so I don't think that they are ever going to come back from this. And I mean, ever in the next 3 to 5 years kind of sense, because Kellen Moore, of notably the Boise State quarterback playing on the blue field that I know from my days.
That's all I know him from.
Exactly. Is apparently just a genius defensive coordinator. And he's got, he last season was interviewing for head coaching positions in a bunch of places and just ended up kind of deciding to stick with the Cowboys. But if he's gone and Dak Prescott is just, king of interceptions here and just gets lost in his feelings after his girlfriend dumped him, I think they're going to be just relegated to the dungeons of the NFC. I don't think they're coming back. I think that this was like the first time they had won a playoff game in
a long time.
And I don't think that they're going to win one again.
Probably not. I mean, they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be in the dungeon of the NFC East. I think that's going to belong to the Washington football team.
Coolest name ever.
But I think they're going to be consistent, bouncing in and out of the playoffs, 7 seed, 6 seed, not making it, losing the game.
I think they're going to be out of the wild card race, and they're going to be low.
I don't think so.
Not Texans low by any means. But that is just a really sad, horrible pit of despair you never want to climb into. But they're not going to be good. They're just going to be one of those middling. Oh,
don't you just hate it when they're middling?
Do a whole lot of anything.
Man.
Yeah.
7-10.
So
8-9. But with the Cowboys out and with a lot of these other teams out, and I'm sorry my computer keeps shaking here. I can't stop fidgeting.
I can't stop.
I do have to point out that every single quarterback in the championship games this weekend is under the age, is 27 or younger. So Mahomes is the old man at 27. Joe Burrow is 26. Brock Purdy is 23, and Jalen Hurts is 24. And after we've been sitting here arguing all season about Aaron Rodgers and 45-year-old Tom Brady, it is really refreshing to see no Super Bowl for old men.
No Super Bowl for old men.
We have a new generation of some young guns getting in there and mixing things up. Just a few years out of college, all of them. So
yeah,
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I don't want to say about Brock Purdy, but I think the rest of them are the future of the NFL. You got Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, everyone knows that he's going to be the next big star quarterback. And Joe Burrow. So the jury's still out on you, Brock Purdy.
I have an opinion question. If Mahomes was not linked up with Andy Reid, do you think Mahomes would be the Mahomes? Or would he be going Mahomes?
Is Reed the coach for the Eagles? Who is that? The name sounds familiar.
He used to be the coach for the Eagles, and then he's the coach for the Chiefs now.
The Chiefs,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't
Crazy.
know. I think Andy Reid is really one of the best coaches in football history. He's up there with Bill Belichick. But and I think that definitely plays a part. Because I think Andy Reid, who was it on the Chiefs that he made look good? I'm trying to remember. Before,
Wide receiver.
was it Alex Smith? It was Alex Smith that played for like a year under him. I might be wrong, but
See, this is where we need Fry and his encyclopedia of knowledge,
Right.
and knowing like
Yeah.
every player from every team and what years they played and when they were traded and
I
what
picture
college
him
they went
in a
to.
parking lot, like an underground parking lot, in his car watching this, screaming at this point. Just getting
yeah.
information out.
So 2013 to 2017, he was with the Chiefs.
Oh, okay.
And so, let's see, when did Andy Reid take over?
Man, I'm
Like
starting to
Thursday
feel
or
real
so.
old. Because
Oh, dude.
2015 would have been a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been the head coach since 2013. Yeah, so he
Okay.
made them look. He made Alex Smith look pretty good, and Alex Smith
Okay.
was garbage when he came out because he was. What pick was he? Yeah, he was the first round pick, or he was the number one pick in 2005 for the Niners, and he was garbage.
Yeah. He
But then he
didn't
went to
do
the Chiefs,
anything.
and he was great until he had that
Okay.
horrible injury that almost killed him.
Eee. Yeah.
See?
Danger.
NFL just chews people up and spits them out. Okay.
What about some basketball?
Yeah.
Oh, basketball.
What about some basketball?
Damian Lillard, our
Dame.
Blazers homie, 60 points.
Join the
60
60
Points
points
in a game?
Yeah.
Against the Jazz.
Holy poop.
He's only the fifth player in NBA history. Sorry, I've got a lot of factoids here that I had to type out beforehand because, like I said,
Nerd.
we don't have Fry this weekend. But
Yeah.
he's only the fifth player in NBA history to reach 60 points 4 or more times. He joins Wilt,
Wow.
Kobe, James Harden, and Michael Jordan for that honor. But this 60-point game was actually a little bit more special because it's considered the most efficient 60-point game in NBA history. It was
Yeah.
scored off the back of 9 3-pointers, and he shot 72%. So the amount of shots it took him to get up to 60 points was actually pretty low. Yeah, anyone with
Efficiency.
72% shooting that's insane. So,
Yeah, it is.
I'm surprised LeBron wasn't on that list.
Right, but he's
Huh.
had like a lot of 40-point games, I feel like, but the 60 point
so-
is like a kind of a barrier.
Yeah, so LeBron is the first player in NBA history to score 40 points against all 30 teams.
Damn.
And
Okay.
he's also 150 points away from becoming the all-time scoring leader in NBA history.
Oh, really?
to
Who's he
surpass,
beating?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
So he passed Karl Malone earlier this season, I believe. So that's he's getting old. He's getting up in Tom Brady years. And
Well, he and I are only a couple months apart, so I mean, he is still a spring chicken. Spring chicken. He's still got some
he's not
skin and
40
vigor.
yet. I think he's still got a couple years because he's barely slowed down. It seems like
I've still got a few years before 40.
Yeah, at least two.
yeah. It's yeah. So hopefully there's still a couple more years and we can all enjoy his him playing. You know, I don't know if he'll win
Play that
another
basketball.
ring.
Keep
I don't
shooting
know if he'll
those
win
hoops.
another ring, but it's you know, when he does retire, it'll be sad. Just like when
Well, he's
Kobe
instant
retired
Hall
and
of
MJ
Fame.
retired. So yeah.
But the interesting thing is, like, LeBron had a kid pretty soon after joining the league. So there is a chance that he could actually play with his son. But first, his son has to go to college. And there are rumors circulating, some pretty good rumors, that Oregon is on his top 2 schools that he's looking to commit to. Because
That
remember,
would be
he can't do what his dad did. He can't go straight from high school into the NBA. He has to play his 1 year. So maybe that 1 year will
but
be
he can
rewarded.
still make buku bucks in college now.
They can.
And so, you know, Nike is like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
We got the hookups for you. You're LeBron's son. We'll give you your own shoes.
Too. Mm-hmm.
We'll give you
Yeah.
a shoe made of bitcoins.
What would those look like? Because I'm thinking that's
you
just
have
a
to have
bit fun.
special glasses for those.
So hopefully that's like the pushing point, to get LeBron's son to sign to sign up for Oregon, and hopefully he pans out better than Michael Jordan's sons, who flopped at UCF. It's got to be disappointing just being the GOAT and just knowing that your sons, because they're so spoiled.
See, this is when I would just push them into literally any other sport. Any other sport. Just tell them, you can play lacrosse, you can play some,
slap competition,
some tennis, slap comp. Oh, God. That's
racing hot rod.
That's another
Hot Wheels.
Something. But, yeah, it's got to be hard to live up to your parent being this vaunted legend. And speaking of vaunted legends and their sons, I think we should go right into the last little bit of news that we have, and it's over from the soccer world. We got a couple things there. But Claudio Reyna is Gio Reyna's father, and he actually played for the U.S. men's national team for a while, had some CONCACAF cups, and was selected for various accolades over the course of his career. And it most recently has been the sporting director of Austin FC, and is now stepping down because of the drama with Greg Berhalter. And so, Lee, do you want to recap what's going on with Greg Berhalter?
I'm not too well versed in this, actually.
Okay, so luckily I am.
Someone did the research.
Nerds.
So Gio Reyna's mom apparently was really, really butthurt about her son being left out of all the World Cup action. And she did what any normal helicopter mom does and leaked some news about Greg Berhalter. That in 1991, Greg Berhalter got in an argument with his girlfriend, now wife, and at the time kicked her. Now, I did some math on this, and 1991 was 32 years ago. Not that saying that, time is a factor, but also if we think about 32 years ago, Greg Berhalter was 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when this incident occurred. There have been it's kind of sensitive because, we are talking about domestic violence, but Greg Berhalter's girlfriend eventually married him. There have been no revelations of anything happening after that. And I don't know about you guys, but guys when they're 18 are just stupid. Really, really, really stupid. And if he did something dumb, has owned up to it, and there's not been any incident since. Do we kind of just not do
Yeah,
why is there so much being made out of it?
Yeah, I don't want to give him a pass for it, but at the same time,
right.
If he, what you're saying, he owned up to it, and it was just a one-off 31 years ago, and they've been happily married ever since, whatever that means, then it's really a non-story.
Yeah,
right.
I definitely agree with you, and really owning up to it is the key. But it doesn't have to be some terrible secret to hide or anything. Yeah, just say get over it. I said the same thing about Clinton. If he would have just said, "Yeah, I did it. That's my personal business. Shut up." You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not the same
domestic violence is a little bit
we're talking about. Yeah,
different than adultery, but still, I get that it could be for a lot of people, one incident is more than enough to just completely lose faith in this person altogether. But for me, being 18, being stupid, learning from your mistakes, and also owning up to it, even 32 years later, and saying candidly, yes, this did happen. My question is this shouldn't be the reason why he's no longer the U.S. men's national team coach. We have a whole other host and cadre of reasons for him not being the U.S. men's national team.
That's not why we hate you.
Like inserting this, yeah, exactly. Inserting this shit into the conversation just makes it messy and gross. And so it's affected both Berhalter and now Claudio Reyna, as he now is being, he says he's stepping down, but I have a feeling he's being shown the door after just being a messy drama queen.
I think for Gio Reyna, the best thing to do is just to kind of get out from his parents' shadow and just let his play speak for himself.
Because
just,
his mom
put this whole crap behind him.
Yeah, because his mom also played for the women's national team, so she's also kind of like. I think they've all just been in the U.S. soccer world way too long, and you're right. He needs to go back to the Bundesliga, go finish playing for what is the name of his team? Because it's not.
Oh, Borussia Dortmund.
There we go. Thank you. The brother who's been to Germany, who actually knows the Bundesliga teams. But so to wrap up today, I think we're going to cover a little bit of the Bayern drama. So, what
are you talking about Manuel Neuer?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So well, it kind of starts. The story starts a little bit before this, and so Bayern Munich, as you know, Wes, has been like at the top of the Bundesliga forever. They're kind of almost boring to root for.
10 years in a row they've won the championship.
Exactly.
Wow, Yankee style.
But before
so.
before they were there, like over a decade ago, they were nicknamed FC Hollywood for just having all of this like spectacular drama everywhere. And so people are saying, like, is this the return of FC Hollywood? Because there's been like a whole host of things that have happened recently that are just ridiculous. First and foremost, starting out with right after their World Cup loss, Germany's World Cup loss, Bayern decided to hold their training camp in Qatar immediately following the World Cup. Since 16 of the 23 players on Bayern Munich were already at the World Cup on the German national team. So they just held the camp right then and there, right after the World Cup. And reports have come out saying that it was extremely strenuous, very, very taxing on these guys, that there were a lot of minor injuries sustained, that there was a lot of like, they were run down after this and just not just burned out basically after all the lead up to the World Cup, then losing just before the round of 16 and just not performing well. So that was a really, really bad move by Bayern's coaching. And then what happened with Neuer?
So he decided to go skiing, and I'm not sure exactly how, but he broke his foot pretty severely. Apparently it was like being held together by his ski boot. It was severe bleeding. I'm not sure what the hell this guy was doing skiing that caused that, but yeah, so he's not going to be playing. So Bayern Munich is in the Champions League, which is resuming in February, so he's not going to be playing.
And Neuer is their goalie. He's not.
Yeah.
It's not a very easily replaceable position.
No. You have two goalies on an entire team? So that's...
Yeah, so he broke his tibia. He broke his fibula. He's unable to move his leg entirely, I think below the knee, due to severe nerve damage. He is completely messed up his leg, and he is 37. This is not going to be.
He's done.
That's
not going to play
age where you don't really recover from injuries. But I had the same question you did. What was he doing skiing? Because at least in the U.S., every American pro athlete has in their contracts, both with their teams and with their endorsements. It's written into there, no fun during your season, particularly during your season, but also during your off season.
Yeah,
and
always
the biggest one.
Yeah. If you want to do risky sports or whatever, you have to get approval from your team.
Yeah. No skiing, no skydiving, no freestyle bouldering. You don't do it because
it reminds me of when Obama finally left office. Not finally. When Obama left office, I saw him
God, about time.
paragliding.
Yeah.
Or parasailing.
Like, hell yeah.
Parasailing. And I just imagine him going like, finally. That's my Obama voice. I talk like this. I'm Obama.
Just like adventure junkie or adrenaline junkie now, just like
Oh, yeah.
putting on
Funny.
a wingsuit or whatever, skydiving outside of planes.
Or like the rollerblading
Yeah.
suit, so you're like flying on your belly down the highway.
Yeah, now that you don't have to worry about designated survivor kind of shit, like of course you would do stuff like
Right?
just go crazy with what's the guy who owns Virgin, Richard Branson.
Oh yeah.
Just go nuts
Right.
with him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's mind-boggling, his injury, and
Yeah. So what all of this has led to, though, is there in the last 3 games since the World Cup break has ended, and they've started including the Champions League, like my brother said over here, but including a friendly, they've just drawn game after game after game. It's just tied,
Wow.
which is not good. And they're only up. Let me see. So they're on top of the Bundesliga still, but just by 3 points. And there are and so for every win, you get 3 points, right? So there's 5 teams that are all within 5 points of Bayern. So if they keep this up, maybe even Giorena's Borussia Dortmund could be in the mix for the Bundesliga title, which would be an interesting and surprise change. But I don't know. It seems like these players are really checked out, including like one of the guys was just seen at Paris Fashion Week during his 1 day off last week.
that's crazy.
Decided to fly to Paris, go
Okay.
to Fashion Week. So yeah, I think they're checked out. What do you think, Lee? Like, do you think that they're gonna?
I don't think they're checked out, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win the Bundesliga this year.
You don't think they're checked out? So they had the World Cup, all the grueling training for that. Then they have to stay in Qatar and do another like.
I mean, it's
huge
definitely taken a
camp.
toll on them, and it's definitely been a long season because of the added World Cup. So I don't know.
Can you imagine having
Like
that
I
kind of
said, I
schedule and not being a millionaire? That's weird. Like, you better pay me for this shit. This is hard work.
right?
That's still, yeah. I don't know. I think the
Yeah.
average American has a harder work schedule, and a lot less pay.
Oh, yeah. I think you're probably right. And they have masseuses and such. So they're going to be okay.
Yeah. But there's no masseuse that is going to be fixing Neuer's ankle. I didn't hear the part where it was held together with a boot, but ugh.
Well, apparently his ski boot like helped kind of like keep the bone together.
Gross.
Or
Okay.
make it from getting
Yeah,
worse.
Split.
So it's
Yeah.
basically a limp noodle hanging in his boat. in his
Okay,
boot.
so compound fractures where it's like the bone comes out of the skin and
Yeah.
spiral
Well-
fractures and stuff like that. Like, it's just all gross.
He just got
And
a
it
powder
seems
fracture
like-
where he's just a
Yeah.
just
On
powdered.
that note,
But, I mean, this has been a week of like some pretty insane injuries just across the
yeah.
board. A lot of cringe-inducing ones, as I'm sure my face has shown, and
Well,
everyone else's. But
hopefully none of us get injured over the week. So, and hopefully
Eating your oranges.
next week we'll see Fry back so we can have our sports encyclopedist back.
yeah,
Yeah, we need that
Until then.
Pokedex head. The SadFan time. Did we talk about how we reach each other now?
yeah.
SadFan Media.
On
YouTube.com.
Twitter,
I forgot.
I don't know.
The Sad
On
Fan.
YouTube, Fry on
The Sad
Twitter.
Fan on YouTube.
All one word. All one
Yeah.
word, though. And you can't find me on social media.
Can't find me on social media. Josh?
JR Berkeley on the gram. That's
If-
about it. But
If
you can also
enjoy
check me
Josh,
out.
go see him on... Where else are you, Josh?
I'm on Gorp. We talk about Gorp. And then Popcorn and Beer is one we started recently, about a month ago. It's going okay. Talking about
Sweet.
Neves.
Very,
All
very
right, see you guys
cool.
next week.
It's
We're going
awesome
to talk about sumo and Hot Wheels racing, marble racing, and then D&D crafting for dungeons and such. You guys have a good night.
Sweet. Yeah.
Hey,
we'll
we
see you
should talk
over there.
about marble racing here. That's a sport.